I added a few more. So most businesses fail because of lack of ideas. I think I talked about this in some other coaching too. You got the Kodaks. They had a great idea, right? Instant pictures. They didn't have an idea when all of a sudden smartphones came out and digital printing came out. They didn't evolve, and so I think Kodak right now no longer exists. Same with Blockbuster. Netflix came out, movies were on demand. They had every excuse in the world not to be like Netflix. But guess what? Unfortunately, I think the last Netflix or not Netflix, Blockbuster in Alaska closed down, right? So think about that when it comes to your business. All businesses fail because of a lack of ideas and also implementation. And today, hopefully, a lot of these ideas that I'm gonna share with you guys too are like free. Like all these things that we're gonna do shouldn't cost a ton of money. Some of them will, depending on where you're at within your business, your marketing budget. And I think I've got this one. So let's not go into 2020 broke. The new Pep Up talks too is compounding is the 8th wonder of the world. Anyone ever hear that before? Get your like physical 7 wonders of the world, but compounding, I can't remember who stated that. Do you remember who stated it? Some sort of mathematician stated it. But you take a penny and you continue to compound it over time. Next thing you know, you're a millionaire. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So by all these activity items that we're going to mention, whether it's a ready, willing, and able buyer, whether it's an upcoming seller, I really feel that these activity items should help you guys add at least 1 transaction per month. Actually, I'm kind of going to promise and guarantee if we really follow through with these, and I said this word earlier, we're optimistic, we're positive about these things that we're going to do that will lead to, leads. I really feel, I did this math myself, if we can add 1 sale a month and every 1 person knows at least 200 people, right? So you're gonna essentially be 1 degree of separation from a total of 2,400 new people, and back to that 1 sale per month. All these activity items, let's say your average sales price is 200,000 at a 3% commission. We're talking 6,000. So 12,000 or 12 deals that we're gonna add because of these, compounding strategies is gonna equal $72,000 in gross income. Not too shabby, right? Mm-hmm. Our average agent is, I think I haven't checked this year yet, but I bet your average agent is going to come somewhere between 120 to 150 this year. And so if you look at that 72,000, that's almost a 50% growth. Has anyone thought about next year as far as like growth, what you want to hit as far as, and it's okay if you want to continue to do the same, but what we've learned is, to have nice, natural, organic growth, we should try to shoot somewhere for 10 to 20%. Has anyone started thinking about those numbers yet? Okay, that's okay, because we're not quite at the end of the year yet, and we're definitely not into 2020. So set goals for lead generation. One of the things that I brought as a handout. Have I given this handout? I think I have shared with a lot of you these handouts. Tina, did you get one?
No.
Were there any extra ones?
Oh, they should be right there. Did I not do enough of them? Oh, they're under there.
Sorry.
Okay.
They're hiding.
Thank you.
I swear I killed enough trees today.
This is a weekly activity planner. And so this goes back to those lead indicators that I'm talking about, focusing on the activities that ultimately are going to account towards your closings, which again are lag indicators. Does anyone have anything like this that they go off of every week? Or and I'm pretty sure I've shared this with many of you, and I've shared this probably dozens and dozens of times a year. But as you're planning your weeks, just kind of quickly organizing your schedule, doing that 7 times a week, reviewing your goals, maintaining your tasks, like attending weekly training, which you guys are here on a Monday, watching RE/MAX University videos, updating and maintaining your database. Those are all yellow, and the reason why I have them in yellow is they're indirect income producing activities. As we get to the greens, those are more direct income producing activities. So doing your prospecting frog calls, as you guys have all heard me talk before, family, recreation, occupation goals. And to the right there is the goals of each activity item. So doing that 25 times a week, prospecting emails, mailers, social media posts, hours prospecting. So I really feel, guys, that if we use something like this and go ahead and use this to a T, that this is gonna really, really help solidify your fourth quarter, but then also catapult you guys into the next quarter. Does that make sense? Cameron's really studying this. What do you think? You like it?
Yeah.
The green ones are the ones really that the yellow and the lighter green ones should help you lead to the green ones, which are the listing appointments, for sale by owner listings, short sale expired, traditional listings, open houses, buyer appointments, home shown, offers written, accepted closings. So a little extra bonus handout for you guys today. Again, so as we rewind and look at 2019, one of the things, and this is actually something our team sent out an email last week, is kind of a list of all of your buyers and your sellers. So take a look at that list, plus the upcoming closings that you have, any pendings that you have, and then break down, I know many of you guys do this, but break down where those closings came from. Were they referrals? Were they past clients? Were they networking? Were they referrals from lenders? Were they open houses? Were they sign calls, online leads? That's a great way to kind of help you project, where to really focus your time and energy on. Another thing too, as it gets slower, and sometimes you can't just prospect and market, you have to take a little bit of a break for those things, while other people are eating turkey or going Black Friday shopping, while other people are, wrapping Christmas presents or doing this and that. Think about the things that you can be doing just one thing at a time to help you with your business. So one of the ideas I have is doing a marketing audit. So reviewing your websites, your social media pages, your online profile, any type of marketing collateral, your business card, letterhead, review your posts too. I know a lot of you guys are posting quite a bit on your professional pages. So one thing that I like to do is I like to review my posts and see how many impressions did I get on that post, how many interactions did I get, how many likes did I get, how many direct messages did I get. Did any of those individuals that liked or commented, did they actually become someone that I helped buy or sell a house? Think about those things. Make a sales map. I think this is a really cool tool. If you looked at all the transactions you've done this last year, have you guys ever thought about just making a map, whether it's through Google Maps or through the MLS, and just show off to your sphere of influence on your page, like how many houses all over the metro that you've sold? Wouldn't that be pretty cool? And all of a sudden someone might say, wow, Pam, I didn't know you sold in Cambridge, or Jen, I didn't know you went all the way out to, Panora. Melanie, I didn't know you went a couple of blocks over to, in Ankeny from your house.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Does it make sense to do that over a certain amount of time and say it, or just put it out there and don't say like in the last year or the last year?
It's completely up to you. I mean, I think it's definitely, I'd say at least the bare minimum of a year, but if you've had a great quarter or a great half of the year, I mean, whatever makes sense. And that's the cool thing, is there's no right or wrong to do any of these things. Like I said, it's really just output. But, a lot of it too, Jen, might come back to like if you have a strategic focus. Let's say you're trying to get more listings in the urban Milwaukee area, maybe that makes sense. Maybe you want to do less of, Panora or Cambridge or Goodnow. So maybe you really focus on a certain school district, certain area, certain suburb.
It really depends on the message that you're trying to present. So if you're trying to present, I cover, well beyond the metro because you do, or that stat, if you really do end up working in a particular area, if you, all of a sudden you notice you've got this little clump right in the middle of Urbandale, pull all of the Urbandale sales and see what percentage you had. So whatever stats are most flattering for you are the ones to pull.
It would change too with the individual you were presenting them to, I would think,
Yeah, true, right, yeah.
They can.
You can adapt to them.
It's just the message that you're trying to do, but make sure that you always have a qualifier in there as well. So that if you say, I sold more homes in Urbandale than any other agent, in the area, just have the line DMAR stats, this date to this date, legal.
Yeah. But I think that'd be a great to do, the next month, don't you guys think? I mean, I think that's gonna be super impressive. And if you need help doing that, A, let us know. But B, if you're looking at your map and you're like, gosh, I didn't have as many as I thought I would, or if you want to have it be a little bit more powerful, think about leveraging concepts data too. I mean, I don't know where we're at this year. I think we're probably in the high 3,000, if not low 4,000 range. So that's a lot of deals. I don't even know if that will fit on, on said map, or even just go down your office. So, but I think if anything, my suggestion would be think about doing that as either the end of the year type of post. And, we don't ever want to come off too boastful, braggy, right? We don't like braggers. And so if anything, make it more of a thank you everyone for making 2019 such a great year. So grateful for all the business, for the referrals that you guys all gave me, for the support. Looking forward to 2020. Another cool thing is I have this as an idea, portfolio pick of all your clients or some of your clients, especially as and we're going to go really deeper into this, but pictures of your clients that you took either at the closing table or at the inspection or right in that first offer or in that home or with their family, or even just their family photos, especially if they're starting to send you holiday cards, collecting all their pictures and turning that into a collage. The cool thing with even a Google Photos or Canva, some of the apps that we're using that are very simple to use, you should be able to plug those in right away and really show that off. But again, just think about ways to just kind of, one, not come off too braggy, but two, just make sure people know that, hey, Sherry's in business and she sold a lot of houses. And if anything, that's going to help create that momentum that we're talking about. And then the last thing, and I've been doing this lately myself, and I love it, organize your office and your home. If you haven't had a chance to.
It's gonna be hard.
Yeah, well, and everything takes time, right? And just time blocking and making that time and focusing on it, especially your office, where you work. Make sure that's your, haven, and all of your paperwork is where it needs to be, all of your equipment, your computer, your printers, everything is just super convenient, super efficient to work. With today's cost of things, buying an extra monitor or a Google Chromebox, everything's super inexpensive anymore. You don't need to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on equipment. Printers, I don't know if you guys have seen the cost of printers and a good scanner, but less than a few $100. So do an inventory of your office, make sure that it's set up the way that you want to work. And for me too, sometimes you gotta be strict. So my kids, they love to come into my office and work, and that's fine when I'm not there, but I tell them, hey, pick up after yourself. If you got your crayons and your markers on my desk, Daddy just asked you to put that stuff away because, when I'm working, I want to be able to work. And if anything too, what I like to do the night before that I wrap a project up, I just set it there if I need to continue working on it the next day, or leave the tabs open on my screen or my computer, so that way I know next thing I need to do that day is already open. Even emails too, if it's 10 o'clock and I'm done, it's I can't get back to this one email. We've talked about this, be an agent in command of your time versus in demand. Leave that email open, or put a little star on it, or put a little follow-up in your Google email, and next thing you know it's gonna pop up that next morning for you. So some fun things, I think all these things are really fun and exciting. Of course, I'm passionate about being a real estate business owner, just like you guys all are. So okay, so on to what we're really here for, which is the client compounding strategy. So again, most agents, and I don't want you guys to think like most agents, take one buyer and pray that one of the 4,000 active listings is the one that they're gonna write an offer on and close, okay? But what do most sellers want? Most sellers want that ready, willing, able buyer. They really don't want to list their home and clean it before every showing. And so the goal here is to find a seller, double your commission opportunities, and then also, though, not just the seller as a potential, 3% or whatever you charge them if you're double siding the transaction, but what's that seller gonna do? Has anyone ever done anything like that before? Picked up a seller or found a seller, and next thing you know, you've got the seller as a buyer. So, and also remember too, that seller, as we're gonna talk about different ways of bird dog that seller, not only do they potentially become a source of income on the sell side or the buy side, but then also, like I said earlier, every one person that we're adding knows at least 200 people. So all of a sudden we're going to be front and center. And then what better story can they say? Sherry, not only Sherry bring me a buyer, but then she also helped me buy a home. And then they, I should say, can promote you to their whole entire sphere. Okay. All right. So next page. And I even gave you a little bit of wording. I think everyone in this room is great at, creating good content, good copy. But hi, I hope all is well. The reason I'm reaching out to you is I need your help. I have some clients looking for the following homes. So taking that ready, willing, and able buyer and coming up with some wording that will help really turn that into a bird dog. Does anyone have an example in this room of a buyer that you're trying to help find right now that we can use? Jen, you get one?
I have a family that they have 3 biological children and 2 adopted, and they're all like that preteen, teen age.
Uh-huh.
2 are boys, 3 are girls.
Uh-huh.
And so they're looking to separate the boys and the girls. I think for multiple reasons. I don't know, don't ask. So it's just finding a house that, meets their needs too.
What's the budget?
Up to $250 cash.
I have something like that too, but they have a total of 9 kids.
Oh my God.
No, they have 5 of their own, 4 they took in because the mother passed away.
Oh, that's sad. That's
So
sad.
yes, 250 too.
Okay, so you have someone like that, and you have a client like that. So everyone in this room, did your heart kind of open up just a little bit hearing that story, like a buyer, the mom passed away, or who doesn't want to split up their boys and their girls? I have 2 of each, right? I have 2 boys and 2 girls, and they each have their own little side of the house. And so that's essentially what I'm getting at is who right now knows that your buyers are looking. You do, of course, as their agent. They do, of course, because they're the ones that are looking, but sometimes they haven't even promoted that to their friends or their family. Maybe they're secretive. Maybe they don't want to be secretive. It's just not a big deal. They're just, like anyone else, just looking for a house. But so that's essentially what I'm getting at is taking that buyer, creating a story of what they're looking for, and then putting it on in front of your sphere of influence. It's another touch point. And if it was me as a buyer, and I know that Ina and Jen are working hard and really trying to help that client find something, I'm like, wow, that's an extra service that Jen as our buyer's agent does for us. I'd like, Joy, this is something this is why we should work with Jen. It shows value to your buyer. So if a buyer is interviewing you, actually, if a buyer is interviewing all of you guys, right, they could choose from every single agent, and all things are similar. Experience, knowledge, negotiation skills. It might come down to service. So what additional things are you going to do for your buyer? And I think this is a huge one. Don't you guys think that this is something that shows that you can go above and beyond? And then also appreciation and drawings for referrals. I've talked about this a lot in the past. And guys, I'm not really reinventing the wheel. A lot of this is just hammering in things that I've been speaking about and reminding you guys all about. So just showing your appreciation. So if anyone does send you a referral on a house that meets this criteria, what would you want to offer them? Maybe it's a gift card for coffee. Maybe it's a gift card for dinner. I think that'd be a pretty cool, way to incent someone to really, think outside the box. A lot of times you see people, and it's all psychology, right? But you see people asking for referrals. Who do you know that is a plumber or a dentist or a real estate agent? And the nice people out there, unfortunately, I'm like 50-50, depending on how much time and energy I have. I might say, I actually do know a structural engineer, or I do know a surveyor, I do know this person. But then sometimes you get so busy, you're like, other people are going to respond. So you don't, take that extra time and energy. So why not incent your people to, reward them, inspire them to do that? Okay. Social media, post on your business page and personally what your buyers are looking for. And I would love to challenge someone to do this. And I would also love to see something super creative, something very attractive. But for me, I would, with their permission, of course, use their picture. So, you've got a family of 9. How many families of 9 are in the market right now looking for a house with 5 kids of their own, 4 adopted kids? And so all of a sudden, it's gonna attract a lot of eyeballs, right? So I said this, and I'm not the one that created this term, but how do you slow someone's scroll? And you could just use the wording, looking, Jen, back to yours, looking for a house up to 5 bedrooms, $250,000, and someone might read it, but someone might not, right? What do they say? Pictures, graphics will always draw more attention, so why not? And video, yeah, video, love that. So why not just take that extra mile? And again, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. If they've come in the office and you snap a picture of them, great. If you ask them, most families do, ask them for a family portrait. So I definitely want to challenge you guys for that. Another idea I have on that too, if you're working with a first-time home buyer, single or a new couple, how fun would that be to not only get them on picture or video, but maybe, looking at Cameron here, you get a selfie tagging those two, right, in a picture that you're going to post on Facebook or Instagram, and then back to everybody knowing at least 200 people. But it's actually even crazier. I think the most even introverted people that I know on my friends on Facebook still have 300 to 400 friends, on their profile. And so all of a sudden, Cameron's here taking a selfie as Susie and Billy's buyer's agent with a fun story, his personal branding, whatever that is, and then all of their friends are going to see that post, and they're going to like that post, or they're going to comment on that post, or they're going to hey, actually, I know such and such that's looking to buy or looking to sell. And next thing you know, with that right call to action, you're going to be getting some direct leads into your inbox. Does that make sense?
And some $600 buyer broker fees.
Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Yeah. Anyone do anything like that before with success? Is it a good idea?
It's a great idea. I wonder, I just feel maybe it's introverted part of me that's hey, can you mind if I take your, when I just meet them kind of thing, maybe got to ease into it, or maybe
Not
it's,
everybody wants.
yeah.
Yep. And so it's not, if you're working with 10 to 12 to 15 buyers a year, right? It may not be 100% of the buyers want to put themselves out there. They may want to be private, and that's okay. Then if they don't want their picture up, then at least at a bare minimum, it could be you on a video, or it could just be your copy, right? Hey, I'm looking for this buyer, just like on Central Iowa or First and O, just putting that out there. I'm just asking you guys or encouraging you guys to take it one step further. So you may not get 100%. You're not going to get 100% of everyone doing that, but I think it's fun. Don't you? I think it's really fun.
Yeah. But you could have another,
Do a picture of their dog.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
that'd be
Fido
awesome.
needs a new home.
I've done a
I think
picture
it'd be
with
funny
their
how the
dog.
kids fight
Yeah.
each other,
Yeah.
and showing them separating the girls and the
Yeah.
boys, and
Yeah.
that would be hilarious. So they draw attention.
How many boys at family? They have 2 teenage boys and 6 girls.
Yeah.
Now my heart.
So they need 13 bathrooms is
Oh
what
my
I'm saying.
God.
Yeah.
Now I wish I
That's
could
what I'm
afford
hearing.
it.
Yeah. So the key thing I put here is make it fun and attractive. And if anything, be vague to cast a wider net of leads, right? You don't have to get super specific. Of course, it's nice to find them exactly the house, but you never know what's going to work. Sometimes I tell buyers this all the time, and I know you guys all do too. There's no one perfect house for them, right? They're going to have to make concessions. So maybe if they're looking for 13 bathrooms, what would you consider a house with 10 bathrooms, but it has room to add another bedroom? Or you have room to add a garage, or you have room to do an addition. If your budget's $250, but you found a house, Mr. or Mrs. Buyer, for $200, but it needed just a little bit of updating, is that something that you're looking for? And so we cast that wider net with just that many more leads that are going to come in, right? Okay. Geo Farm. Now this is going to be something that does cost money, but I know we've talked about this in the past. It can be very, very cost effective doing direct mail the right way through our Creative Concepts or any other program. I would definitely recommend our Creative Concepts. But focus on the area, the features, the needs and wants. Jen, remind me again what area your buyers are looking for.
Hoover School District.
Hoover School District. So that's actually pretty narrow, right? I mean, that's something that we can get some boundaries on, and back to the up to 250. Didn't someone just have a post like that? I think Kira Sales just have a post like that, a little ranch over in that lower Beaver area. I think that might be Hoover. But anyways, focusing on doing that geo farm, especially if it's a school district specific. There are definitely ways to scrub MLS data to find that type of house with that type of bathroom and number of bedrooms. Also think about expires and for sale by owners. Also, bird dog. Actually, I'm going to completely switch topics now. So that's one way to find listing opportunities, right? Another way to really utilize opportunities from other agents. So I'm really going to have you guys think outside the box. And of course, we want to do this with permission. So as you guys are seeing like First to Know posts, Central Iowa Real Estate Exchange posts, send a quick text, direct message to these other agents, and they've got this coming soon. I know if I had a coming soon listing, I would love for all 2,000 agents to share this, right? It's that many more eyes that are going to see this. So ask them if you're able to utilize their listings, sneak peeks, pocket listings, just anything you can to just really leverage more opportunities, connect the dots. That makes sense? Anyone ever do something like that with any type of luck or success? And again, it's pretty free. And if I were to just estimate how much time and energy that's going to take, I think it's probably going to take less than a minute or 2 minutes to just share and post and write something quick and easy. Okay. Housewarming parties, brainstorm ideas on how to help promote and network. And so that's another way to help really compound that one buyer lead that you have, right? You found in the house, you do a housewarming party, you put that as part of your, buyer timeline. I'm going to help you not just only sponsor, but I'll help you host too. I can help you create the invitation. I can help you invite friends. And what's the benefit of that? All of a sudden their friends become your friends. All of a sudden when you're going to that event, you're helping planning it, right? So you're going to be able to make it, blocking it off on your calendar, but you're kind of like the star of the party. Everyone's like, oh, who is your agent? Or how'd you find this house? And this is my agent. This is, how Sherry, how Melanie, how they helped you find that. Yeah. So think about those things. Check in for the last 12 months of buyers, making sure you get your reviews. That's something that should definitely be habitual. And not just reviews, but asking for referrals. So I mentioned this earlier as part of your sphere of influence, but taking those buyers, the ones that just, gave you a 5-star review that are completely satisfied, and asking them more specifically. Again, this is more of us being a hunter, asking specifically for them to give you some referrals. Okay. The next one I'm really excited to go over, story sell on social media. In parentheses, I have 80-20. I've talked about this for the last few years, but 80% of our posts should be personal, 20% professional, right? We want to blend. If we're 100% professional, and I think I'm actually kind of getting guilty of 100% just because I'm getting tagged so much in concept stuff, between my impromptus and trainings and all the different events, I really haven't spent a lot of time and energy doing some personal things. If anything, think about the individuals that are able to post you personally and tag you, your spouses, your friends, things like that. And so if anything, Joy has actually been able to help me quite a bit keep my personal posts balanced with my professional, but 80-20. But think about how you can story sell your buyers to compound them to more leads, right? So that first meeting, you're meeting them, this young, fun, or this big family, you're meeting them at their house or at the office or a coffee shop with their permission, of course. How fun would it be to just kind of tell that story of the meeting in addition to what they're looking for, of course. And then also maybe just a little bit of a sneak peek at your buyer's presentation. This is the buyer's timeline that I just went over with them, and we're really excited. Or these are the houses that we came up with that that we're excited to look at. Just something real, just real quick and interesting. Also from a story selling standpoint, think about the showings, especially on a day like this. 2-degree wind chill factor, it doesn't slow me down from showing these 3 or 4 houses, and especially the cool little features of every home. Think about house hunters too, how they do that. They take these buyers and the agent through like 3 or 4 houses. Which house will it be? Will it be the house with the dated kitchen? Will it be the house with the big deck in the backyard? Will it be a house with the pond view? Will it be the house that, the basement has a bar in it? So think about how you can turn those showings into stories. Jenny Farrell's made this such a campaign for the last, I don't even know how many years she's done this, at least 5+ years, but every time she goes in a house and finds a vice, she takes a picture of it. Now, I probably wouldn't recommend that just because that's her thing, and plus the chances of finding a vice in every listing that you're showing is probably 1 out of, I don't know, 20, 25, 100. So if anything, kind of find the uniqueness of that showing and make it fun.
Somebody does pencil sharpeners too.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of those.
Writing the offer. How cool is that? Like, it's not just about like trying to attract other buyers, but then also it's really making this experience for your buyer memorable, right? Sometimes it's not about what you do for them, it's how you make them feel. And so I think that'd be really special to take a picture of that, or, I know with dot loop and everything else, it's easier said than done.
Let's do FaceTime while doing
Yeah.
that.
Screenshot.
But, it's easier said than done, but think about how you can create those moments of paperwork in the process and them excited, especially right now offer, or especially, hey, do me a favor. I got some good news, and I'm kind of speaking on the fly too, but if I were to be the buyer's agent friend in this room, I'd be like, Cameron, Emily, I've got some good news and I got some bad news. You want to hear the bad news or good news first?
I'm a bad news guy.
Okay. Bad news is I want you guys to take a selfie in 10 seconds. You want to hear the good news?
Yes.
We just got you the house,
Hey.
right? And if we,
Confetti cannon.
yeah, if we press, oh, you know what, that'd be cool too. Hey, this is confetti cannon is when we get your offer accepted. Now, of course, we got to disclose and say, hey, it's not done until financing and inspection and all that stuff, right? But at least we're trying to create these moments, right?
A buyer of mine, we haven't even closed, we're closing in the 20th.
Mhm.
They took a picture of the house with them and said, we are new homeowners again. Yeah, you don't even own that house yet. But it was good, there was so much. Ina, did you do this? Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
that was funny.
before Cindy Carlson came to Concepts, I remember I helped Neil and Brittany buy a house that she had listed. This was like 5 or 7 years ago, and they were so excited, and they posted on Facebook, we just bought a house, and they took a picture in front of Cindy's sign with the sold, right? Luckily, they still tagged me, but who also got a lot of play? Cindy did, right? And so if anything, which is fine, it was awesome. But if anything, creating those moments of, you know what, I've got my photo sign in the back of my car, and Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, well, let's go do this. Boom, let's take a picture, a selfie, and do this. And it's just telling that story.
But at least they were nice enough to cover Remax, the agent's name.
Yeah,
Remax.
yeah.
It's a listing of, I'm having brain freeze. Valerie.
Oh, sure.
My God, she's even a friend of mine.
Yeah.
And they covered her name.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. So think about inspection too, especially inspections. How many things in an inspection can be exciting or unexciting, right? But if it's an educational piece too, because how many of our friends have a Federal Pacific electrical box, or how many of them have a old sewer line, things like that. So think about how you can kind of promote those things. The final walkthrough, of course, everyone's happy, excited. The house is nice and clean. The moving truck pulling up, I think that'd be cool to take some pictures of. At the closing, of course, them getting their keys handed to them. Maybe it's a picture of your hand, handing them the key. I think that'd be kind of cool, right? And of course, the housewarming parties. Thanks so much. Cameron and Emily invited me to their housewarming party. We had a great time, snapped a few pics. I think those are all great ways to sell a story, right? And I think if anything, out of the 2,000 agents out there, I don't see, because I'm friends with a good chunk of them, I don't see a lot of agents doing these things to really tell their story, to brand themselves this way. Also, think about closing gifts that wow, right? So often, and I'm guilty of this, you have your last minute, I gotta run by Hy-Vee or Target or whatever, they did a closing gift, and okay, it's a bottle of wine and a gift card, there you go. Well, there's some agents that go way above and beyond, and we've got to spend a little bit of money, right, to really make an impact. But I've heard agents give away Roombas before as closing gifts. Things that are memorable, things like on Etsy, a sign that says, this is, a sign of the coordinates of the house, or the day that they closed, or the day you got, married, or whatever, something memorable. Yeah. Welcome sign, welcome mat, all those things. So closing gifts that wow, because also that is something that we can turn into a social media story cell, right? How many people in the room do office pop buys or gift deliveries upon acceptance or upon closing? Anyone ever do that or see that done? How cool could that be to be like that rock star real estate agent? Who sent those flowers to you? Oh, my real estate agent, Melanie, did. Who sent that candy bouquet? Oh, Sherry, my agent, did. Who sent, the half dozen tacos? Cameron did.
I've actually taken, like, on the day that I know that they're gonna move, it's just like ordered pizzas for them
Yeah.
and taken like beer buckets and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
I love that. Hey, Sherry, guess what? You just helped me add an idea. A moving day pop by. That's a great idea, because who is gonna help them move?
Right.
Most of the times, it's just not the buyers, right?
Right.
They got mom and dad come and help, brothers, sisters, cousins, best friends, college friends, right? And so I think that's a missed opportunity for a lot of people to make, because I don't know, like if you guys have been in situations where you meet a family member at a walkthrough or at the moving day or the housewarming, all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, you're the agent. By the way, I'm thinking about buying or selling. I'm thinking about this or that. Oh yeah, I'd love to connect with you. Let me find you on Facebook. Let me find you on LinkedIn. The day of giving cards, I'm gonna segue a little bit. I think that's okay. Definitely give cards. I don't think I've printed off cards for years. If anything, I always try to find them on Facebook or LinkedIn, or give their phone number. I don't have any cards, but here's your phone number, or what's your phone number? Let me send you a text message, or what's your email? I'd love to send you some information.
What do you mean you don't, are you talking about business
Yeah,
cards?
business cards.
You don't give business cards?
Mhm. I
Oh,
haven't given them out in a long time. Part of it's late, I'm lazy.
oh,
But you can send your contact card,
Yeah.
and that way you've got their info instantly.
Anytime you hand out the business card, most people throw it.
Yeah,
So you can't secure that, getting that back.
that electronic connection, I think, is next level.
are we gonna have a class on how to do that? I haven't Android, not iPhone.
Although, I'm gonna say,
I'll help
never
you out.
underestimate a card. I actually gave a lady, while I was working at Walmart, a
Mhm.
card 5 years ago, and I got that 1.some million
Nice.
farm listing that we just closed on. I had to bring Betsy in because that was not my expertise, so it took, whatever. But that lady actually held on my card for 5 years, you guys,
Wow.
so.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Wow.
Yep, and that's the thing, is you never know what's gonna work. So by doing all these things that we're talking about, it might lead to that. What would you say, 1 point what?
I think we ended up at 1,100,000 or something like that, it was right.
And you shared that deal with the
Yeah.
agent?
And we doubled,
Oh
so
my
we
God.
actually got the buyer too. It was really a weird deal because the buyer was actually an agent, but because of the company that he worked, it's more like, I forget the name of the company now. What's that Caitlin Ludwig's dad's name?
People's?
Yeah, it
People's
was
company?
them.
Yeah.
And so he could not represent, so we got both.
Oh, wow, that's way awesome.
So it was worth sharing.
Yeah.
Darn.
But back to this office
It was
pop
really
buys.
nice.
If anything, some offices are so cool anymore, and I've never been into like a lot of these places, right? So if anything, get permission from your buyer and saying, yeah, Scarlett is okay, I'd love to stop by your office, especially if they work at like an architectural firm or a design firm, or the new downtown building of Come and Go, or whatever it is, and just ask if you can stop by and drop off flowers or drop off some goodies and say, hey, this is for the old office. How many people work in your department? This is something that I'm sponsoring, and half dozen tacos on
Breakfast
me.
pizza?
Yeah. And then back to buyers, most buyers, when they're looking to buy, especially first-time home buyers, or especially investors, or especially the clients are building new, a lot of times that's who their sphere is, right? It's pretty much them multiplied by quite a few dozen. And so by really promoting the fact that not only did you successfully help them buy their first place, but you know what? Susie and Billy, I loved helping you guys and really created an idea in my mind that I need to do first-time home buyer seminars, because I'm only assuming a lot of your buyers are just like you, trying to learn how to buy their first home and, all the things that we went through. So you've really inspired me to create this seminar. And if anything, they could be a great review, a great testimonial, they could be great on video. And then also, of course, they're going to probably help promote and share the event. So think about things like that. Talked a little bit about this, but I do want to expand using other agents' buyers to generate seller leads. There's no harm or foul, right? Especially on personnel, especially on Central Iowa, we're seeing all kinds of posts for this buyer looking for that, this buyer looking for that. Wouldn't it be cool? And I think I was supposed to do something, and I still need to do but getting a list of all of Concept's agents and our buyers and really coming up with and it's going to be a crazy big solid list, but then all of a sudden you can use that as part of your monthly newsletter or your, just to reach out to if you, mining your database. All of a sudden you're going to, maybe find, the seller for these buyers that are on First Home, because a lot of times, back to average agent, they've already scoured the MLS, so they're posting that for a reason, because it's hard to find that type of house that they're looking for. And ultimately, who knows? You never know until you ask, right? I have a story off of that. So my nephews were moving here from Nashville, and they were looking for 250 and under, and they were open to Drake, Sherman Hill, Beaverdale. They wanted something real classic and with character, right? They love modern too, and we just couldn't find them a house. And ultimately, I found that house within my sphere of influence of some people that actually were in the process of building for me. And, so I should have probably been a lot smarter and done that a lot faster. But ultimately, I ended up getting both sides of the deal, because when I did that initial estimate proceeds for them, I said, hey, this is going to be the commission for not just the buyer's agent, but for the seller's agent. And lo and behold, I brought in the buyer and got both sides. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Old leads, how many in here are working with old leads still? And that's okay. They're, sometimes it's kind of an upstream type of thing, but you're still able to use those old leads to bird dog sellers, right? So all those things that we're talking about, but then also just, following up with them. Are you still in the market? How many in here are going on the MLS every day and looking at the hot sheets? That's awesome.
Sorry, I was doing that right now.
That's okay. That's okay. You're
It
working.
increased from 17 to 37 since this morning.
I know, right?
So another 20 new listings came online. Yeah, and I think if anything, especially if you're working with buyers that those listings are hard to come by, the good listings are still going fast, right? Going super fast. So that's another way to really promote, not just for your buyers, but then also, just letting your sellers know, hey, these houses are selling fast. So we got all kinds of things that we can talk about there too. For sellers, goal is to find buyers for your listings. So a lot of times, most agents, what they're going to do is they're going to turn in the MLS paperwork. They're going to upload the pictures. If you take your photos with a Jake Boyd or something like that, they're going to promote those listings for you, right? But we as agents don't really go above and beyond the status quo. Once it hits MLS, that's the first time everyone sees it, right? So think outside the box. Think about coming soon. And we have to follow rules, of course, with MLS and all those things, 48 hours to be exact. If you have any specific questions, ask Michelle or Lance. Sneak peeks. So coming soon. Hey, everyone, I have a brand new listing coming soon. It's in Norwalk. It's right close to the elementary school. I can't give you too many details because we're still finalizing the paperwork, but if you or anyone is looking for a house under 225, send me a message. Okay, so that's first part of the campaign. The second part of the campaign is sneak peek it. Maybe they have a kitchen to die for, or maybe the backyard is what everyone's wanting. Fenced backyard with a playground set, it's private. All of a sudden you can use some of those things to sneak peek it, right? Draw some more interest to it. Because like I said, you're already, the seller, as long as you do your job and you market and you sell it right, you're going to get that selling commission. But really the key here is to try to attract a buyer. Pocket listings are good. We got to still be a little careful. There are some rules and guidelines there. When in doubt, always ask one of us. And then if we see something that, isn't truly on the up and up, which we do on occasion, we'll let you know too. So it's easier to ask for forgiveness than to always kind of this is me talking now. This is not Lance. Lance is probably the opposite of me, but
Lance is going,
yeah,
right
but you guys
now.
know, you guys know what's right. And
Ask for forgiveness instead of permission. Is what you're
Yeah.
saying.
but you guys know, you definitely know. We're gonna actually talk about this next week, right? Open houses, mega open houses is next Monday, little teaser, or 2 Mondays from now, one of the upcoming
Yes,
Mondays.
this next
I
Monday.
think it might be,
I think it might be.
this,
How many?
it's one. Inviting neighbors, to open houses with the seller there,
Yeah, next
doing a little bit of a sneak peek for those neighbors. It's kind of a send off also for the seller, especially if they've got a lot of friends on that street. And, getting introductions to those neighbors as their agent. So we talked a lot about different listing strategies last week too. If you guys weren't able to come, let us know. We've got the handout. Training that one was recorded, wasn't it? Reverse pop buys, agent opens at a new listing. So especially as we're getting into the holiday season with Thanksgiving and Christmas, especially because I don't want you guys to be going house to house to house in weather like this. How cool would it be to do a reverse pop buy at a new listing, especially, or definitely, of course, with the seller's permission. But let's say you get a fun, exciting listing, or you just really know it's going to be a hot listing. Why not do something after work and say, hey, everyone, this year I'm going to mix it up a little bit. We're doing pumpkin pies. I'm going to have some pumpkin and apple pies or whatever at such and such house. It's my new listing. The sellers have graciously allowed me to do this. Come check out their home. I've got it listed for sale, and tie it together with the open house. And how cool would that be to have, your friends, your family come, past clients come for, whatever your reverse pop by giveaway is. But then also they're going to see that energy and excitement because those people that are coming purely for the open house, they don't know who's who. And next thing you know, it makes your new listing that much more attractive. And of course, documenting it, taking lots of pictures, taking a lot of videos, and boosting that on your social media pages and your website. Anyone do anything like that before? New idea?
I love the
I
idea of
saw
doing it
someone
during
do
an
it
open
recently
house.
though, and I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I saw that.
They did it at their open house?
Well, Yasmina did it at one of her, she did a pie
pumpkin.
pickup.
Yeah.
And so she had like a bunch of pictures. I was like, dang, that's a good idea.
Yes, and it's like double dip for your
Yeah,
time.
Because it was
too.
like client appreciation and here's this new house that we just listed. I'm like, that's pretty smart.
Especially now that the listings are taking longer too, whereas, last year it'd be like, well, shoot, it might be sold by the time I.
Yeah.
And
Hopeless,
especially
but-
if you're doing new construction, for sure. I mean, you know that you're gonna have that for at least a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, we're always going to be more than happy to see you guys do these reverse pop buys at the office, any of the offices. We have some great locations, and, offices are kind of geared for those things, right? But, I mean, why not kill 2 birds with 1 stone to get more traffic for your sellers and see your past clients and invite their neighbors and meet more people, and I mean, just all kinds of things. And a lot of these things, guys, what I'm recommending, they're not going to cost you thousands and thousands of dollars. There might be a few bucks here and there. It might be $100 here or there, but a lot of it's just real strategic, very stealth. I talked about this last week. Market the listing to the max. Service for more referrals, attract other sellers. I think that's one thing too that a lot of us are doing a disservice to our listings. We get the listing paperwork live on the MLS. We take these pictures. We might do an impromptu video there. We might do, a video walkthrough. But other than that, it's like, where does it go? It may go to your page once, or it might go to your website, but we're not really promoting those things, all the things that we're doing to really story sell the whole process of that listing experience for that seller from first listing appointment. We talked about that before, taking that selfie video in front of that listing appointment, taking a picture or a boomerang video of you putting that sign in the yard, or even with this weather being challenging, maybe to put that sign in. Maybe you've got some extra help, a hubby or a wife that can nail it in for you. Take a video of that. So just think about different ways to really attract other sellers. This is another fun thing that I'd love to see someone do. We've moved to their sphere of influence in their neighbors. Say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I'd be happy to promote the fact that you've moved. You're no longer at your current address. You create the card, you have your information on it. Maybe you say, hey, I'll, even as part of my seller services, I'll print off, 50 or 25 or 100 of these out if you want to. You can even give me your mailing address, I'll mail them for you. Now that might be easier said than done for some, but especially if it's a type of client, maybe they would. Maybe they want to see you meet all their friends and all their family members, right? They want to see you, get to know them. So think about those things. And at a very minimum too, do that to the neighbors. What happened to Ooh and Joy? Where'd they move to? Their agent told us they moved to the other side of town. That's what Cameron told us.
Away from your barking dog. No, I was just gonna say, there are two postcards that are pre-designed in Design Center for, we've moved. I think if you just look up Just Moved, it'll pop right up, and then also 2 designs for social for that as well.
Yeah, it's all there. Requesting updated reviews. We talked a lot about that last week, things to do once you've helped your seller. Getting a written testimonial that you can mail out to all their old neighbors with, with an endorsement on their behalf. And then also seminars to your sphere and more. So in doing those things, maybe at the listing, hey, first time sellers, this is a great house that I'd love to show you. If you're thinking about selling, these are the things that we did. So if we're holding a selling seminar there, and you can talk about how you help them stage and declutter and depersonalize, and show them that, hey, I've got this, part of my listing services is I've got these webcams that I will leave at my sellers' homes, and I ask them to put it in their kitchen or in their living room, so that way we can track everyone that's coming in and out, and this is a security sign that we post outside. So things like that. Empty nesters, there's a ton of, I feel like, empty nesters selling right now. There's just a bunch. And so how to right size, or how to downsize, the right ways to do those things. Smart improvements for resales. Have we ever went to a listing and they did all the wrong improvements, or maybe they over improved, they spent money where they shouldn't have, So think about those things that you can be super proactive on by marketing your listings and doing those types of things. But again, these are all ways that because I know everyone in this room is going to naturally automatically have buyer leads and seller leads, right? So I know automatically most of everyone in this room is going to convert at least 25, if not 50 to 75% of those leads. So all I'm trying to say is, what are some other ways to take these ready and willing buyers and sellers and try to double, triple, compound them? That makes sense?
I know, I was just looking at that.
I've learned
Right
that.
on.
Yeah, I've learned that I need to keep it to this amount of handouts, and then we're good. But anyone have any suggestions or thoughts?
Good stuff.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome again.
Oosum again. Thank you. And what was that? Cameron had a really good one too. Oosum again. But no, I love to see this stuff, guys. I think it will work if we will. So just focus on some of these ideas, and gosh, I feel like the fourth quarter is still staying strong for everyone in this room, from the energy and the excitement. And I think first quarter with all these ideas that we're going to be implementing is going to be awesome. People are like, wow. Watch out for Melanie. Watch out for Sherry. Watch out for Jen. Watch out for Cameron. But that's all.
Is there a list of rules for the pocket listing? I don't know. I didn't know that there were. I don't hardly do them, like the sneak peek and all of that.
The biggest challenge with pocket listings is in order to legally be able to offer a home for sale, you have to have a signed active listing agreement. So that means that really that pocket listing period is only that 48 hours that you have between the time you have the signed listing and the time that it goes on the MLS. That's why we've really had kind of a breakdown with some
Make
of
sure
that.
Madison will edit out that part. So that's where you just gotta be careful
Yeah.
with the pocket listings. There's all kinds of things